Black Lightning Season 1 Episode 4 is doing exactly the opposite of what Altered Carbon is doing. It's very plot, story focused, action. It's a high plot, minimal action kind of series. The action is there at the end of every episode. There's a lot more action in this episode than there has been previously, but it's still not a magnifying amount. It's still okay. It's an okay amount of action. It's the right amount of action. It's the exact amount of action that you want at the beginning of a series. When it comes to nearing the end of the series, the action and the stakes will ramp up as we get closer to like the episode 10 mark. Then the action will definitely ramp up, hopefully. But this episode focuses on Jefferson Pierce, Black Lightning, going after sellers or the distributors of this new drug. Well, it's new in the point that we haven't had any notice of this drug before. It's called Green Light. And it essentially works as a kind of steroid, but it turns you feral for like an hour, where you become basically superhuman for like an hour. So we see, like, in the first 10 minutes, someone is ODing on the floor, then they wake up and they have superhuman strength. Jefferson Pierce sees this person. He asks, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" He gets up, rips like a cubicle, like a toilet cubicle out of the wall, throws it at Jefferson Pierce, and he is forced to use his powers on the student. And the rest of the episode is basically him trying to find who the seller is of this drug, of this drug. And as we progress with this episode, we see his daughter using her powers more, getting used to her powers more, and we see her actually do some crime fighting of her own as well, which is good to see, because they're definitely progressing the side characters a lot more as well. They're progressing his daughter. They're even progressing Tobias Whale a bit by introducing his kind of love interest character, who kind of brings out this more like almost down to earth character, like side. This more like light-hearted side of Tobias Whale, where we see him a lot more. We usually see him a lot more reserved in other scenes. Here he's a lot more like fun, in sense of a word. It's a lot more human. You know what I mean? we see a old friend of Jefferson Pierce appear for a short while. They have a little bit of a talk. There's a little bit of a talk between him and Jefferson Pierce. Jefferson Pierce then doesn't get what he wants, and he thinks, what if Black Lightning spoke to him? Would that be any different? It is different. He gets what he wants, which all leads up to this final showdown, with the kid at the beginning of the episode. Basically he's been kidnapped by the 100, and they're trying to force him to have this drug again, and a higher dosage. But the thing is, he wants the drug. He's addicted. He's addicted after the first go. So Black Lightning basically saves him and gets out of there. But this is after he tracks down a shipment of this green light drug. But he sees an explosion, or an explosion which is caused by his daughter basically fighting these guys who are attacking this nightclub. She fights them, stomps on the ground, creates like a mini earthquake, which I didn't realise was a thing that you could do. And yeah, basically saves them. Basically beats these guys down, but Black Lightning goes over there instead. He then tells his Alfred kind of to run over the cameras. He sees that it's his daughter that did all this, but then proceeds to tell Black Lightning that, yeah, nothing happened. But then he goes over there with a shotgun and basically just takes pictures of the surrounding area. Which could mean anything. Does that mean that Butler's a bad guy? Does that mean that he's a bad guy? Does it? Well, I don't know. So yeah. We then see... What's that? That's better. We then see that then we get the action sequence at the end. Oh, well, good. Still, there is a problem with pacing in this. There's a lot more plot than action. I said that was a good thing earlier. It is, but it's both a blessing and a curse. Where we want to see the characters develop, but we also want to see Black Lightning do cool things. And he does do cool things in the first issue, and the first episode, the second episode, the third episode, to a lesser extent. This episode, he kind of just punches people, and I want to see a bit more Black Lightning and a little less Jefferson Pierce, kind of. Still, I want to see an equal amount of the two characters. of the two aliases. I want to see them working off of each other, because it seems like they're going that way. They do have a lot more Black Lightning in this episode than they have in previous episodes, but there's still a lot that hasn't. There's still not enough there. Also, something that happens right at the end of this episode, I won't give it away, but it was involving a character that I did like before this episode, and they're kind of detracting away from him, turning him into more of a cliched character. Like, he gets injured and then he blames the superhero that was there that didn't save him, but instead here he's told to blame the superhero by Tobias Whale. Tobias basically goes into his room where he is staying in the hospital and basically is like, Black Lightning ruined your life. You don't know it yet, but he ruined your life. He was there, he could have saved you, but he didn't save you. I'm not going to mention the fact that I was the one that shot you. I'm not going to mention the fact that I was the one who ordered the shot on you. But yeah. I just think that that's kind of a cliched thing, and they're kind of turning a character that I did like into a character that kind of cliched, and I can kind of see where they're gonna go with him later on. He's kind of gonna be this character that, you know, I can almost see him getting juiced up, like to the point where he's superhuman again. To the point where he's superhuman. He's going to have a fight with Black Lightning, probably in like episode 8 or 9, maybe 10. And that's a while away, actually. Episode 10 is a while away. But we are going to... But this is basically... That's where it's probably going to go. We're probably going to see a fight between them. And then he's going to cool off. And they're going to end up working together. Like, Black Lightning and this guy are going to end up working together. So, at the end of the day, I did enjoy this episode. The show is really getting better, and it's definitely not a bad show. I think it's finding its footing, and it's trying to find out what kind of show it wants to be. Like, does it want to be a fun, light-hearted superhero show, or does it want to be a serious intellectual superhero show that has like these political ideas and these political messages being thrown out there as well, but also not beating you over the head with a stick with it? Because I've liked the way that they have addressed the political issues so far in the show, but I also am of that mindset that it's a comic book show. If it's meant to be, it's based off of something that is supposed to be an escape from the real world. It's not supposed to reflect the real world's problems. It can, if it wants. Stupid phone. Do you mind? Thank you. But as I was saying, the show does reflect on the political problems we're facing at the moment, especially in America. But so far it hasn't been bogged down or dragged down because of it. If it does in the future, in future episodes, that might be a problem, but so far it hasn't. So far, that's a good thing. I don't mind it having the political message in there. It's probably going to have to, given the subject nature of it. But if it becomes patronizing or preachy about it, then I'm probably going to have a problem with it. But as it stands, Black Lightning is a quality show. It's getting better, and it hasn't been bad for any of the episodes. It just needs to find its footing, and I think it's getting to that point where it will be standing on solid ground. But that being said, I have been Luke Warner. I hope you enjoyed my review of Season 1, Episode 4 of Black Lightning. And make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will be seeing you soon. Peace. I'll make sure to keep the light. I'll make sure to have the light on from the beginning next time.